Sky-high prices of apartments in Seoul have become an issue that goes beyond the realm of economics. Creating feelings of frustration and relative deprivation, the issue is now influencing Koreans' mental health. Debates about Seoul's housing bubble go way back, but they have never been as heated as they are now. The price of some apartments in the Gangnam area have almost doubled over the past 4 years, adding billions of won in value. Experts are split over whether or not there's a bubble. Some say it's a bubble because the price has reached a level where the income of the actual residents cannot afford the mortgage payments. Others say that the income of high-income earners has also risen recently, and Seoul experiences a lack of supply of apartments, especially newer and modern ones. Almost all ages are affected by the price hike. Young people in their 20s and 30s are frustrated by the thought that no matter how hard they work, they will never own their own apartment in Seoul during their lifetime. Those in their 40s and 50s who believe that there was a bubble feel left behind because they failed to act and lost a chance to earn hundreds of millions of won. Those in their 60s and older who bought an apartment decades ago and hold it now are nervous as they can't pay the heavy taxes that have been recently increased by the government. The government has released a string of countermeasures in recent weeks and promised they will curb the sky-high price no matter what. But there are many skeptics who point out fundamental problems. Compared to the number of Koreans who love to live in Seoul, the center of almost everything in Korea, the supply of new housing is seriously lacking. If the government's move results in a drop or at least a leveling off of the prices, it may manage to have a positive impact on Koreans' mental health, at least temporarily. Record-breaking house prices have priced out interested home buyers. This is a sign that the bubble is about to burst. So I said the record-breaking house prices have priced out interested home buyers. So, if you took a look at the population of Korea, let's say you've got 40% of the people wanting to buy homes. However, only 5% can afford them. So 35% of the people have been priced out. It means the prices are too high to buy something. So the rest of the people can't buy it. So that's being priced out. And then there's a sign that the bubble is about to burst. So when we talk about tech bubbles, real estate bubbles, the prices are more than what they're worth. So when people realize that, stop buying houses, that's when potential bubbles burst, they explode, and the real estate market goes down. Experts say that there is a bubble because mortgage payments are much higher than what most people can afford to pay. So I want to talk about mortgage payments. So in the United States and in England, I know the system is a little different here in Korea, but you take out a mortgage that is a loan for your house. And every month you must make a mortgage payment. So it's depending on the price of your house, you have to pay that each month. So we call those mortgage payments, monthly housing fees to the bank. Demand has outweighed supply for new apartments in Seoul, which has caused a dramatic increase in real estate. So demand has outweighed supply. When we talk about to outweigh something, it means we're comparing two things. The positives outweigh the negatives, pros outweigh the cons. You can even say if you're traveling, Jeju outweighs Busan. So I said demand has outweighed supply, meaning there is more demand than there is supply of apartments. Residential real estate has peaked since there are a limited number of new apartments available. So residential real estate has peaked. If something peaks, you've got to think of a mountain peak. It has hit its top. So if a stock price peaks, that means it's hit its top level that it's ever has before. So if something peaks, it's reached its highest level. The government plans to build more affordable housing, increase taxes, and place regulations on housing loans. So I said the government plans to build more affordable housing. In the United States, when we talk about affordable housing, this is housing for people who make under a certain amount of money. I believe it's maybe under $25,000, $20,000 a year for a family. So the government provides something called affordable housing, which is like government subsidized housing. So they only pay a small percentage of the rent. The government plans a three-pronged strategy to fix the issue. First, they want to raise taxes. Second, they want to put limits on mortgages. And finally, increase the supply of apartments. So a three-pronged strategy, if you think of a prong, it's kind of like a sharp object, like a trident. But when the government or a business has a three-pronged strategy, it means they're doing three separate things to solve the problem. So like we talked about, taxation is one, restrictions on loans two, and more supply. That's three-pronged. There is a sense of despair amongst people in their 20s and 30s. They think that due to the high cost of housing, they will never have a chance to ever own a home. So I said there's a sense of despair. The feeling of despair is no hope, very dark, that the future will not bring anything good. That is the feeling of despair. Younger people fear that they may never have a chance to buy a house. This has caused a lot of anger and hopelessness. Many older Koreans could have been a lot wealthier if they had taken the risk to invest in the real estate market years ago. Middle-aged renters are feeling sorry for themselves for not acting upon the opportunity to buy an apartment. The fear of taking out a mortgage prevented them from increasing their net worth in the end. So I said, prevented them from increasing their net worth in the end. Your net worth is the total amount of money you or your family or your company is worth. So you would add up all the money you have in the bank, the value of your house, your car, if you have anything valuable like gold or jewelry. If you add all of those up, that number is your net worth. Money left on the table in the past should not affect your relationships with your family in the future. So we say money left on the table or leaving money on the table. It's an expression we use for money that you could have made, but you kind of left it on the table and walked away. So we say money left on the table, that is money that you could have made in the past. Financial mistakes made in the past should be water under the bridge. So water under the bridge means when something bad happens or there's a disagreement between two people and it affects the relationship negatively. When we say water under the bridge, imagine water going under a bridge. It just kind of goes away. So we should think about things that are bad and forget about them. So that's when we say water under the bridge. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for downloading. Bye-bye.